Does hike petrol prices as crude oil hits $74 per barrel. Bitcoin soars to new high as US-China finalize trade agreement. Now the details. Dangote commences nationwide fuel distribution as tanker drivers protest. The Dangote Petroleum Refinery has announced plans to commence nationwide distribution of premium motor spirit, otherwise called petrol, and automotive gas oil diesel from August 15, 2025. The announcement comes amid growing fears of fuel scarcity in Lagos and other parts of the country following a face-off between tanker drivers, fuel marketers, and the Lagos state government over the controversial e-call-up system. Tanker drivers and marketers under various unions declared on Sunday that they would suspend the loading of petroleum products starting Monday, citing the high cost of e-call-up fee, 12,500 naira per truck, particularly along the Lekki-Epe corridor. In response, the Lagos state government maintained its stance, insisting the e-call-up system would be enforced from Monday. The government accused the union of charging truck drivers up to 41,000 naira without providing any corresponding service. Amid the dispute, the Dangote refinery, in a statement on Sunday, announced it would deploy 4,000 brand new compressed natural gas (CNG)-powered tankers to facilitate fuel delivery and improve access across the country. The company said the offer would be extended to fuel marketers, petrol station operators, manufacturers, telecom providers, aviation companies, and other large-scale fuel consumers. It also revealed plans to set up daughter booster CNG stations supported by a dedicated fleet of over 100 gas-powered tankers. According to Dangote, the logistics support package, including free delivery, is aimed at removing distribution bottleneck and reducing operational costs for key economic sectors. This strategic program is part of our broader commitment to eliminating logistics costs, enhancing energy efficiency, promoting sustainability, and supporting Nigeria's economic development, the company stated. The initiative also includes a credit scheme targeted at bulk buyers purchasing 500,000 liters and above. It is expected to revive dominant filling stations, ease inflation pressure, stimulate small businesses, and align with economic reform agenda of President Bola Tinubu's administration. Industry observers suggested that Dangote direct fuel distribution could affect revenue projection for truck parks established under the Lagos e-call-up system. Meanwhile, fuel marketers have expressed concern that the suspension of fuel lifting by tanker drivers could lead to supply distribution and possible scarcity in the coming days. Israel-Iran conflict. Marketers hike petrol prices as crude oil hits $74 per barrel. The ongoing conflict between Israel and Iran has triggered a surge in crude oil prices and prompted a fresh round of petrol price hikes by at least 10 oil marketers in Nigeria. Crude oil prices rose by 8.8%, climbing from $68 to $74 per barrel amid heightened geopolitical tensions. Market analysts warn that prices could escalate further if Iran follows through on its threat to block the Strait of Hormuz, a critical global oil transit route responsible for over 20% of global oil and gas shipments. Maritime sources said that Iran's threat to disrupt the strait could have severe implications for global trade, deepening market instability. In response to the volatility, several Nigerian oil marketers have adjusted their depot prices. The companies affected include ITO, Pinnacle, Dangote, Menge, Swift, Rain Oil, First Royal, Amedep, First Fortune, and Ever. Depot price judgments. Amedep made the highest adjustment, raising its price from 827 naira to 845 naira per liter, a 2.18% increase. Ever made the least adjustment, moving from 866 naira to 870 naira per liter, representing a 0.46% rise. ITO adjusted its depot price from 835 to 840 naira per liter. Pinnacle raised its price from 829 naira per liter to 845 naira per liter. Dangote Petroleum Refinery moved from 830 to 840 naira per liter. Menge hiked its price from 810 naira to 850 naira per liter. Swift increased from 830 naira per liter to 845 naira per liter. Rain Oil Lagos adjusted from 840 naira to 850 naira per liter. First Royal moved from 826 naira per liter to 838 naira per liter. First Fortune raised its price from 850 naira per liter to 860 naira per liter. According to Petroleum Price NG, depot prices are expected to continue rising in the coming weeks due to global market instability driven by the Middle East conflict. On Monday, fears of escalation grew following a series of retaliatory threats. While the United States has urged calm, Iran has vowed a harsh response, further fueling market uncertainty. In a statement, the Organization of Petroleum Exporting Countries, OPEC, noted that in addition to petroleum, Iran holds vast reserves of other natural resources, including natural gas, coal, chromium, copper, iron ore, lead, manganese, zinc, and sulfur. The unfolding situation is being closely monitored by industry stakeholders as continued instability could push fuel prices higher and exert additional pressure on inflation and supply chains globally. Bitcoin soars to new high as United States-China finalize trade agreement. Bitcoin is nearing a new all-time high, buoyed by investors' optimism following the announcement of a finalized trade agreement between the United States and China. Former U.S. President Donald Trump announced via Truth Social that the deal is done, pending final approval from Chinese President Xi Jinping. Trump stated that the U.S. will impose a 55% tariff on Chinese goods, while China will respond with a 10% tariff, adding that relations between the two countries are currently excellent. While the agreement appears to ease long-standing trade tension, particularly concerning rare earth mineral export, analysts remain cautious, noting that specific policy details have yet to be released. Following the announcement, Wall Street futures dipped slightly, reflecting market uncertainty over the final terms of the deal. Bitcoin surged to an intraday peak of $110,000 $1,300 before settling around $109,560 on Wednesday, according to data from Trading Views. China's Vice Commerce Minister confirmed that an in-principle agreement was reached during recent talks held in London, signaling a potential thaw in the strained economic relationship between the world's two largest economies. The news comes as a relief to cryptocurrency marketers, which have been under pressure since Trump's April 2 tariff announcement. Bitcoin fell to a 2025 low of $74,434 on April 7, and crypto ventures capital deals dropped to their lowest monthly volume this year in May. Market analysts suggested the recent recovery in Bitcoin's price reflects a broader return of investors' confidence following months of trade-related uncertainty. Before I end the news, here are the main headlines. Dangote commences nationwide fuel distribution as tanker drivers protest. Israel-Iran conflict. Marketers hike petrol prices as crude oil hits $74 per barrel. Bitcoin soars to new high as US-China finalize trade agreement. That ends the news. Now, dear listeners out there, I would like you to be part of the conversation. Of course, I have with me in the house our guest analyst, Mrs. Dolapo Olufumilade. You are welcome. It's been some time now.
Well, we are all pushing it, hustle and bustle, so we are back.
Yeah. You have been an advocate of more than one or two streams of income.
Jack of all trade, master of all.
So you are a suspect. I suspect you have too many, your hands in many pies.
I wish.
There is that saying that in Yoruba, Amorawa. I know that you keep busy all the time.
Amorawa is now Shebo Shemo.
Anyway, what we are saying is that we know each other.
Yes,
Mrs. Olufumilade and I. When we get to work, when we get to the field, we know what we do. We have more than one stream of income, and we've always advocated this. We are coming to that. But before we go to that, let us concentrate on the analysis. We would like you to be part of the conversation, and that is by joining us in the studios through the studio lines that we have here. The studio lines that we have here are 0916-893-1000, 0916-893-2000, and the last one, 0915-334-893. Yes, we would like you to call in and give us your opinion, advice, and also talk to the authority on what must be done. This is your country, and this economy we are talking about, of course, is about your economy. So you won't watch things go awry. So the best thing is for you to be part of it. If you are not there, only if you are not there and you say that you were cheated, why were you not there in the first place, Abi? Okay, so let us go to the analysis. Yes, on the first story, I think, what do you think of that story? Dangote rolling out some trucks to at least improve on distribution network. Are you smelling some rat, or what do you think?
Why do you always think I smell a rat? Honestly, I have to give it to Dangote. He has been, I think he maybe he did a course on, do I call it emotional intelligence? Because a lot of things has not been to his favor, but he has been handling it well. He has been maximizing. Rather than bow, he uses it as an opportunity to do something else in his favor. You understand?
All right.
So for me, it's a welcome development. But like I always say, let it be properly, let there be checks and balance. You understand? Let there be proper checks and balance, and let it be, do I not, something, not, let it not be something they start now, then after a while they just go to the next, but you should build on it and maintain it, and let's see where we go from there. So for me, it's a welcome development, and I hope they can maintain it, suscitate it, and hopefully, because if you look at, if you've been following the news,
Okay.
this new development is not something they planned. It was born out of the pressure. You understand? Because the heat was a bit heavy.
Okay.
You understand? So I think he maximized and arrived at this. So what I'm saying is that now that they have arrived at this, and it's okay. I think it's good. Or what do you think?
If you ask me what I think, or maybe you ask me if I smell some rat, I would say, well, what I think is that there is some politicking around the distribution chains, and which Dangote is trying to yes.
Okay.
He wants to live above the politics of distribution. Marketers will say
that was why I said the pressure resulted to this. You understand? He maximized.
Yes.
And I keep on commending Dangote.
Dangote said sometimes, we were in the studio together, we read a story where he said that he's a fighter.
Yeah, I remember that was, I think, in April.
Is this a way of fighting, a subtle way of fighting?
That man will not bow. He won't bow. He won't bow, but he will keep on. I think he has good strategy. I think his strategy unit is good because they keep on coming up with good ideas that keeps on elevating them above the issue. And at the end of the day, they come out strong. Despite all this price stuff, they are not losing. They are still making money. Dangote retired over the weekend from his sugar refinery. And I told myself, I said, for you to want to retire, that means the stomach is full. I mean, someone that is still trying to have something will not just retire and then hand over to, I hope you understand what I'm saying.
Yeah.
You understand? Then my husband said, man is not an oil guy. He wants to focus on his oil and he wants to leave the sugar. Can you imagine?
Yeah. And then looking at it, those loading, they've been complaining that the e-colop fee, they've been complaining about the e-colop fee by the Lagos State government. 12,500 naira.
That's what they said. Is that what they are doing?
Per truck. But they also add that it's not just this 12,500 naira per truck that they are paying, but they are paying far more, about 41,000 naira per truck. And one paragraph in that news reads, industry observers suggest that Dangote direct fuel distribution could affect revenue projection for truck parks established under the Lagos e-colop system. How can Dangote direct intervention in distribution affect the fortune of Lagos? I mean, the Lagos economy.
Like you rightly said, he's trying to play above their game. Okay. He's trying to be clean and transparent and do good business. That's the way I look at what he's doing. This e-colop.
Sorry, we have a call.
Good.
Oh, okay. Good afternoon, dear caller.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Would like to.
That's why radio.
Yes, this is Wells Radio. Would like you to speak up and mention your name and where you're calling from.
I'm Mr. Akinwale. I want to talk to a different people.
Okay.
From Abada.
Okay.
I went to your sister the other time, so I wanted to come there to contact Mr. Aboluwade.
Oh well.
Hello.
That can be. You can call the studio line after this show. What we are
Can I get a private line?
You can call back. You can call back if that is what you want to say. Okay. So I'm sorry for cutting you there.
No, it's okay.
Just to
It's
give,
part of the show.
just to give the listener
Of
platform.
course, they
All right.
they are the reason why we are here.
All right. Okay. You can go ahead.
So, like I was saying, there was a time, there was an issue with the Lagos State. They claimed that the tanker drivers were invading the road, parking, do I say, indiscriminately all over the place.
Yes, I can remember.
Fine. Nobody has not said they don't have a point.
Okay.
But the way they went about it, was not, palatable.
Right.
So that is how this e-call-up is again. Nobody is saying, not saying that they don't have a case. They have a case. It's so obvious. But can they be transparent? Can they do it? And again, if you want to run a policy, let there be transparency. Okay, the stipulated fee is 12,500. They haven't said they will not pay. They are not saying they will not pay. But let there be transparency. Let there be tickets to that effect that can be accountable and accounted for. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Okay.
If that is there, then it's a good deal. But the issue about this e-call-up is that it's not transparent. Now they want to bring in Dagote as... Well, I know the man is above their game because he's a businessman. You understand?
Right.
He will swim through it. We've been with him now, at least this year. I think they started this year, right?
Yeah.
And I can tell you that he has climbed many mountains. And we all know the strategy, but I give it to him. I don't really like to praise anybody, but I've been watching the trend. You understand? Challenge after challenge, they keep on bringing out policies that are beneficial to the masses and, of course, makes them business people. You understand? Yeah. Their policies are people implemented. People favored. Okay. Do you understand? So I like that trend with their policies. They don't just throw policies that will affect people because they know that it is people keeping them in business. So this e-call-up is, to me, is just like that time of the tankers parking indiscriminately and then trying to make a mole out of a mountain. That's how I look at it. I don't know. I stand to be corrected, but that's just my take on it. That's my take on it.
I have an observation. The Lagos state government officially charging 12,500 naira, but the drivers claiming that they are paying about 41,000 naira per truck.
There is no transparency. It's all obvious.
And I'm going somewhere outside the scope of our discussion. I'm sorry for that. That also happens in the area of number plate for cars, where an official figure will be rolled out. This is the amount if you want to take.
Then the back door.
Yeah,
the back door.
There is a one where they said that for you to have a number plate for your private car, a private number for your car, you pay 30,000 naira officially. But when you get to them, you pay around 95,000 naira to have it.
I call it backdoor policy because, see, these people, we have one just at Akpata here, Dogo side here. I have studied how they operate. They don't have checks and balance. They're all running their business. They say, okay, you are with me. Okay, that's my own person. You understand? Most times we are crediting the person's account.
The agents.
Yes, we are not crediting the Oyo State
government.
You understand? So there's no transparency.
All right.
There's a third party involved. So how can you do a check and balance? So it's and it's going to be your word against theirs anyway. You understand? Right. Because they are still going to pay that 30,000 directly to the Oyo State stuff, but you've paid directly to them. So there's no transparency. So these are things that should be curbed. You understand? I think they need to address it because I see all these things as backdoor policy. You understand? If I go to them, I should be able to walk into the front office, front desk, I'll be attended to. I myself pay into the account, you understand? And I'm issued my receipt, you understand? But they've not done that in years. I think the last time I did that kind of thing was in the one at a challenge. There's another... somewhere where the banks are. I think there are about 3 banks on that side. I think it's the first one. And that was in 2012. That was the last time I remember I paid directly into their account, not a third party. So from that time till now, a lot of hanky-panky has been going on. And nobody is saying anything about it.
The question is that as Nigerians, what do we actually want for ourselves? We are talking about
Change.
Nigeria. We are complaining about leadership. Yet, those working in government establishment, government functionaries, and the other sector of the economy, we continue to do things just haphazardly, as if the country does not have a mission, an objective, a focus. For us to build a better Nigeria, we should do it well. Now, the Dangote initiative on distribution, I see it as a way of further reducing the overhead.
Yeah, overhead cost.
Yes, it further reduces overhead. And
because the landing price is already, I don't know how to explain it.
When you cut off the e-call-up system, when you cut it off. And,
sorry to ask,
all right.
Are they I've lost count. Are they giving him crude oil, or he's still exporting? Dangote
is having naira for crude.
Okay, he's having naira.
Yes.
Okay. So they've settled that.
We
now.
have naira for crude, and just about 2 weeks ago, it was put to Dangote that price of petrol should be far. Even it was the players in the sector that put it to Dangote that prices, the pump per liter price of fuel should be far lesser than what we are paying now.
That was why I asked that, is he exporting or they are giving it to him?
It's
because
naira for crude. It's naira for crude. So when we
see, I will answer your question directly. We need more Dangotes.
So
when we have 2 or 3 more Dangotes, they will downplay.
Yes. When there is competition,
you know, the whole thing is still monopoly now because everybody is running. In fact, in my area, everybody is going to AP because they know that AP is Dangote direct.
So you will cost it.
You know, it's more efficient.
Yes.
I've run an experiment. I have bought fuel from, I won't call the name of the filling station, and it didn't last. And I bought from AP, and I noticed that I was going to places, and I kept on checking my 4 gauge, and it was still intact. So I've run experiments. So even to service your gen, I noticed that it's more durable and lasting.
Anyway, back to the issue of...
You don't want to agree with me.
Okay. Let's leave that till other time. I want to talk about this distribution, the demerit of having Dangote to do everything. You are the one that gets this crude directly from government. You are the one that refines it. You are the one that wants to distribute and, if possible, even sell to end users. It will bring rigidity. There will not be flexibility. And by the time this ease that we are talking about, later it might amount to bottlenecks. When you have players pulling out and you are leaving Dangote as the main player in refining, in production and distribution, it leaves
the one doing everything.
Yes,
there's no distribution of labor.
There's going to be bottlenecks, and that might eventually upset.
So
are
you saying that if there is more, more visible distribution of labor, that is not only Dangote
when
be
you have
the one
wider distribution network,
so it will crash down the price.
Okay. It will help a lot. It will ensure that this product gets to the filling station in record time, and there will not be any hiccups in terms of sale and availability of petrol. And like you said, when we have more players in the having their refineries working, then it gives us rest of mind. It gives us hope. It gives us better pricing and competitiveness. But a situation where we have Dangote and the national carrier.
You know, right from time when this Dangote thing came in, I was like, he's a businessman. It's just a matter of time. Let's just be watching. You understand? We need more of him so that there can be fair play and it will not be a monopoly game, you know.
Yeah.
Well, is all we have for now. So let's clap for him.
Yeah. We have to clap for him, because at least we have increase in a comfortable distribution of the product. Now, let us go to another news. I want us to jump to the value that is added to Bitcoin. For some time, the Bitcoin had suffered some hemorrhage, but now recently we have a situation where the Bitcoin is peaking, and an insight into what might have led to that is the issue of impact of U.S.-China trade agreement on Bitcoin. Yeah. What do you think? What do you think?
To be honest, U.S. and China are the two, do I say they are the two forces that kind of you can nail to Bitcoin. In fact, I was telling someone recently, I said, God, if I had known that, when Bitcoin started making headways in Nigeria 2004, a lot of people just say, hey, 2000, okay, everybody was like, no, these people, they've come again, mago, wuru, wuru, but people that bought, I know someone that bought Bitcoin then with about 500,000. If you see the kind of money this man is sitting on now, he's just a little bit older than me. If you see the kind of money that man is sitting on now, at times I look and I say, God, and I had some, I could have squeezed myself to do something. So for me, US and China are they are the players when it comes to Bitcoin. If you are a follower of the trends in Bitcoin, so they are the people that can regulate it. Actually, they are the ones that can really regulate it. And yes, for some time people were crying because someone that just wants to start Bitcoin is not easy. Those enjoying Bitcoin are those that had invested years ago. Right. They are just watching their market, and to buy one Bitcoin, just one. Some people can't even buy one. They buy 0.0, it's so crazy. But US and China, they are the regulators because it's in that part of the world. I don't forget Elon Musk is among the players there in US. So they are the ones, determining the distribution. And I think this policy is a friendly one. Or you don't think so?
Well, what I think, if you ask me, I agree with you, Osel. But for taking it further from that, when Trump assumed position of authority, he changed so many things, and the entire global community became jittery, and that dropped so many things.
So you are saying he's the one that caused the problem?
Now they are having trade agreement. Okay. They are coming to terms together, and we are going to have this trade agreement rolled out in clear terms. So with the hope, this story giving us hope about what we are to expect from the US-China talks, actually, that is improving the Bitcoin. And for me,
it's a rub off on the economy too. Because prices, even the dollar, naira stuff, is going to kind of put it at arm's length.
Yes, it would bring some stability,
some succor into the economy.
Now, looking at the short-term impact of Bitcoin, the short-term and the long-term impact of Bitcoin, the experts do say that it will bring a price surge due to positive sentiment because people are now people now have confidence that there's going to be stability in the global economy.
Do you know that they are also hoarding Bitcoin now?
That is the rule of the game. When you want the value of an item to go up, you withdraw. You withdraw. So when you have more supplies, price will drop.
Well, I think these policies will kind of cut the hands doing these things and push it out and let markets, let there be fair play. You understand?
Well,
I hope it works.
One point that I'm able to pick, one very salient point is that let there be fair play. In a situation when you are trading and there is fair play, of course, there will be confidence. participants would have confidence to throw their money into business. But when it's a bit dicey, when there is no trust,
People are skeptical.
Yes, people will.
They withdraw.
They will withdraw. So that is that. U.S.-China trade agreement. Well, I feel that that would be good. Do you know one thing? How do you feel about the conflict between Iran and Israel? That's not.
No, you asked me a question.
Yes.
Let me answer it.
All right.
This fight between Israel, it started, I think Gaza was they started it with Gaza, then they jumped to Iran. Now it's not Iran and Israel. It reminds me of Russia and what's this country? These ones that are still fighting.
Korea.
Not Korea. What's this? But
I mean, Ukraine.
Not Ukraine. Yes, Ukraine. It reminds me of them because it's so funny. It's so funny because the war has done quite a lot. The war has done quite a lot, as in a lot. It's because of the war. That is why there is an increase in the crude oil. These are the aftermaths. These are the aftermaths of the war. Even the war that is still on between Russia and Ukraine is still having. It's just that people have looked over it because it has stood for such a long time. I think it started in 2022. Yes, February. Yes, 2022 February. Now we're in 2025. You can imagine how that the economy of that nation has been crippled. You understand? People that are benefiting from them, you can imagine what has happened to them. And people that are also benefiting from vice versa, you can see. So the war between Israel and Iran has affected the fuel distribution and pricing. And it's going to, it's still, I haven't seen a ray of hope. Because Israel is, I don't know, they are just, I don't know, maybe because everybody feels that God is with them, They are not even, are you watching the news on CNN? They are, those people, they just want to give it to them back to back. Just last week, China had to drop balloons of foodstuff, drugs relief, just to help them. And how did they get in? They used intelligence to block the airfield so that they could not intercept them because China is a super force in technology. Yeah. And immediately they distributed. I was watching it. They just went off. You understand? So these are concerned people. You understand? It's still this one we're talking about. Israel is not reasonable to me. I don't know. And America is behind them in a calculated way. That is all I would say, in a calculated way.
Well, what drew me to that question is the Israel-Iran conflict, how it affects petrol prices.
It has made it very high.
Okay.
Extremely high. That's why we are having it from $68 per barrel to $74. If the war was not there, it would have dropped. We have on this news we have read it at 66, 65. Yeah. But the recent tension. I think there is a recent tension, and it has jacked it up, and it's going to affect. At least for most people in Ibadan, we are buying fuel. I think 870 to 880. Yeah. Well, with this recent, I won't be surprised if it goes back to 910, 920, 930. The way it's going.
But I will ask you why, and the reason why I will ask you that question is that you've always questioned that why would Nigerians not have a petrol the
regulators
at a rock bottom because we have the crude here.
Oh, okay.
Yes, we have the crude here, and besides that, you just asked me, and I told you that Dangote is having the crude naira for crude.
So why is it going up? Why is it not coming down?
Why is it going to affect us locally?
You see. There's something I don't want to say on air, but I will say it codedly.
Or is it that?
I will just say one word.
Is it that you are still suspecting that Dangote still imports crude?
I will just say one word. This is Nigeria. That is all I will say.
This is Nigeria.
This is Nigeria. Whatever goes up to come down, you know what I'm talking about.
Oh. Well.
There's this Nigerian factor. People don't like to admit it, but if you have been following the trends from the 80s till now, you know that there is this trend thing. When things go up, to bring it down, you will explain, Taya.
Well, we are having a situation where the conflict, we can't call it war.
You remember?
The conflict.
Remember when I said the law of supply and demand and supply is not working in Nigeria? You understand? So I mean, we all saw it happening. It was clear now.
Nigeria is a peculiar country. You are trying to say?
It is well.
Well,
it was so glaring that the price should come down, yet it didn't come down. It was we all saw it news all over the place, but it didn't come down. So that's why I try to avoid saying it. But there is this Nigerian factor that is there, rooted in corruption. That's all I will say.
But I want to believe that Dangote Refinery want to keep its integrity. In spite of...
They will... See, Dangote is trying to come out of their antics. You understand? But if they make things tough for him, they are making it tough. See, I want to be careful with what I'm saying, but it's not as if he cannot bring down the price. But when the factors that will bring out the price are being elevated, he's still human. He's not a magician.
Well,
he's not a magician. When all the factors that will help crash the price are being tactically and intentionally elevated, what can he do? The least he can do is that we just try and make little reductions here and there. And that is what he's still doing. No matter the price, his price is always lower than NNPC. That's all I've noticed. But the factors that will bring down the price are being intentionally heightened. You understand? So that is all I will say.
That is apart from the Iran-Israeli war.
Yes.
Now
that's the Nigerian factor I'm talking about.
Iran is threatening to block the Strait of Hormuz. A key oil transit checkpoint could disrupt over 20% of global oil and gas shipments.
That is for countries that depend on them.
Yes. So we want to say that Dangote, please, we are watching. We are not expecting a
I don't think it will affect him.
It doesn't, because
it's not going to affect him.
Sourcing the crude locally. And that is why we are putting it to Dangote that, please, sir, ensure that the refinery does not increase pump price because of the Iran.
The people even after now is the marketers that are important.
Well,
the marketers they will say the landing price.
Let the marketers import. Let the marketers import, but at least the price by the marketers that import should not affect Dangote.
I think what we need is a regulating system that regulates the fuel price, which is not yet implemented. You can't just do these things anyhow.
I want to expand what you have said. Not just in the oil sector, not just in
even food, agriculture, manufacturing. We need a
strong pricing board.
Anybody wakes up in the morning and nobody to regulate.
You just fix your price arbitrarily and nobody to check.
That's the Nigerian factor I keep on saying. It's only in this country these things happen. Why?
Well, we should draw the curtain on the news analysis and go to talks with Mrs. Dolapo Olufemilade. And the topic we did say the other time is honesty. What do you have for us on honesty?
Good afternoon, viewers. It's good to be back. It's been a while. Today, I would like to talk to every one of us, including myself, on honesty. Honesty is one attribute that is becoming very scarce in the community now. I want you in the community, in the locality, in the society. And it's because people have said, I was talking to some people some time ago, and the person was like, what are you going to gain with all that? And I was like, okay. I now told the person, I said, a good name is better than riches. You understand? And the person was like, okay. And, but to me, honesty is much more than you. And it's much more than what people think about you or how you reflect in people's memory. And to me, honesty has to do with, it's something spiritual. It's something that reflects who you are. You understand? That is who you are. It's an attribute. It's more than you. It's more than what people think. It's just who you are. You understand? So no matter the situation, you understand, I advocate that honesty should be an attribute that should be taught even and it should start from infancy. You understand? At times, our children, they are aware. Let me give you a good example. There's a doorbell. Mrs. Lagbaja is at the door. Tell Mrs. Lagbaja, I'm not at home. Already, that child has learned to tell a lie.
To tell a lie.
That's how it starts.
Yeah.
Okay. You are in the shop, you're selling something. You know your mom bought it for 10 naira and she wants to sell it for 100 naira. And when you want to, no, tell them it's 100 naira. Already, that child is learning dishonesty. You understand? Because the opposite of honesty is dishonesty. You understand? So, for me, despite everything going on around us, we should still, let me use myself as an example. There was a day, God dealt with me on a situation. I don't want to go into the details because of time. There's a scripture that helped me. It says, is the one that wills in me to do his good pleasure. You understand? And something that I'd been struggling with, when it comes to conduct. And there was this that's why I said honesty is spiritual. It's not by power, it's not by mind. It's just what you want and who you are talking to help you to be that person. So I'm just going to leave us with a few words. You understand? When you are being honest, you're not doing it for yourself. You are not doing it for the other person, but you are doing it for the you in you. You understand? And it is the name you bear. When you are gone, what do people remember you for? Do they remember you that, that person, when he gets here, commotion, you understand? What is the legacy you are leaving behind? Even the children you have with you, what are you inculcating in them? You understand? I remembered a story of a man that was arrested and was to be killed because he stole. And when they were about to kill him, he went and cut off his mother's ears. And he was like, you this wicked woman. When I was bringing all these things, stolen money, stolen goods, you were helping me to spend it. You drove, you
didn't check me.
You didn't correct me. So that's what I'm saying, that they should, as even our children, when we are, let's be good role models to them, because honesty has to do with a lot of role modeling. Talk is cheap. I'm here talking, but it's what I do that matters. Yeah. Is the impact and influence I have, and who people see, who the projection in me to the outside world. That is what honesty is all about. It's not all about me or what people. No. It's so spiritual. So I'm going to leave us with these few words. Let's do a check and balance on ourselves. Let's go back to the basics. And let's not allow the economic situation or hardship in the land to take away our core values. And one of our greatest core values is being an honest person, and honesty has to do with transparency. So I'll be leaving you with this for this week, and I pray we all stay honest, transparent, and accountable.
Before you leave them to read, I want to say that when you are honest and I'm honest, and he is honest,
make it better.
Society.
Yes.
So Nigeria, honesty is a very scarce commodity. It's a very scarce commodity. Let me tell you a short story before we go. I took my car for repairs last week. And do you know that by the time the car was brought, the catalyst
had been removed. That's Nigeria.
And here we are. So it's still something that I'm trying to battle now. So when we try to model ourselves in honesty, we are better as a society. In Nigeria today, honesty is a very scarce commodity in the political sector.
In fact, when somebody is greeting you good morning, you have to go out and check. Is it really good morning?
Is it morning?
Because the society is so, I don't know.
And that is very sad.
And when people are like this, they're like, "Ah, look at you." They will even be mocking you.
It has come, yes, it has come to that.
They'll be
If you are,
mocking you.
If you are a forthright person,
They'll be mocking you as
they will say
swag
that
me.
this person is a dullard and is not intelligent or something. Well, I want to say it is on this note that we will be drawing the curtain. I want to give it to my producer, Toluwaleke Ali, for her support. I want to give it to Mrs. Dolatbo Olufmilade, our guest analyst, our official analyst on the show. I say you are welcome back to Beat. And I want to say a big thank you to Engineer Arlen, Engineer Henry. I want to say a big thank you to Engineer Henry. Sorry, I'm mixing it up. I'm mixing it up there. Engineer Henry, I want to say a big thank you to you. And I want to say, dear listener, my advice to you is that as you face the remaining days of the week, be courageous and optimistic because it is going to be better. I remain your friend on radio, Akinwale Aboluwade. Until next week when we meet, cheers.
Oh, these faces will know who I am 'cause I be a superstar. My